Hi, this is Wesley. My last name is Perez. This is actually my first video that I'm posting on YouTube. I thought it would be a good idea to kind of let off some steam and like to walk my dog sometimes out in this is my room. It's kind of dark in here. I'm just sitting here. If you if you look at the other way, in my room, there's a kind of a nice television where I play my Nintendo Switch there. It's right there. I don't have it docked or anything, but I just have it set there for later. I play the Nintendo Switch. One of my favorite games is um, Zelda Link's Awakening, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Um, I also like the Xbox One S. I just bought that one. I saw Spawn Waves videos on YouTube, and I became like a big fan of his work that he has on the website about video games and his thoughts on like where video games are headed so far. And like a ton of YouTubers are like making videos about like how some of the consoles are like useful. Some of them are more useful than others. I feel like the opposite. I kind of just play video games. I enjoy the journey. I play on easy mode sometimes. I play on normal mode. Sometimes I give it a shot and I play it on hard difficulty. It really depends on where we are on in the world today and all the horrible things that are happening right now, like the coronavirus. I'm just not sure if that's true or not. The whole C virus thing going around, if that's just something that a group of people thought it would be cool to display on live television with whatever money they have, um, and the power they have over the broadcasting company or whatever they got going on. I wouldn't say it's BS or anything. It's just a lot of people are rioting out there right now because of stuff like that. And I guess you can say you don't really have anyone to blame. It's just not everybody has money, but the people who do seem to be really like pessimistic about what they hold. Um, uh, for instance, me, I'm a little bit more. I guess you could say I'm a little bit more rugged. As you can see, like I wear a silver chain. I'm not easy to push around, though. I've gotten in trouble in the past about people that have tried to test me, and wasn't really a good idea on their part. I would feel the same way about myself because I suffer from um, it's not diabetes. It's not a sickness um, like chemo or anything. Uh, because I'm kind of bald. I I do suffer from hair loss. So I've bought like bodily products and stuff for hair growth treatment. I bought it at Fantastic Sam's. Sometimes I like to take my dog to Petco sometimes to make her feel better because for who I am is not really easy to get along with. Me and my dog have been through some tough times in the past, but um, I guess now it's a lot easier because we get to stay indoors. So I'm in my house right now with my stepfather and my mother. And she's my real mother, and my stepdad. He's my stepdad, and most of the time I just stay cool in my room. And this is a Motorola camera phone. So the quality is not all there, but I figured YouTube is really not up to much right now. So I guess as quality goes, you pay for what you get pretty much. Um, they give you a list of options of like 4K and UHD and HD. I don't really bother with that. Though I do have a an Xbox One S that enables 4K. I have the settings on for just Blu-ray just to play with that a bit, and I've installed games like Resident Evil 5, and I wanted to know what you guys think about Resident Evil 5 and the idea that Capcom came up with as the first Resident Evil to come up with a game where you actually have a partner this time, and you get to command the partner to either follow you or is it cover you, and the other command would be to attack. So that's the first game that I ever played that was like that. So up until now, I found that out, and I installed that game right away because previously I purchased the Game Pass for the Xbox One S, and I installed this one game called The Blair Witch. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with that one. It came out for the PlayStation 4 at first, but it then came out later for the Xbox One. Everybody's real excited. I was excited when I saw it, so I installed it, and well, uh, I didn't like that. It came with like the AI that day wasn't really cooperating with the physics of the player that you were playing as. Um, to be specific, there was this pressure valve that the shepherd had to go and fetch, but it was a really simple task. You just look in through the window, and he was supposed to fetch the pressure valve so that you could connect it later downtown. And what the shepherd ended up doing was he laid on the pressure valve and he ignored the orders that he was given. So I decided to uninstall the game, and instead, the next day I give it a rest. I usually go to sleep, and after I install a game, um, and just give me a second to breathe because I still can't believe that uh, dog like that. Everybody looks up to the German shepherds and the family that they have a long history of like being very obedient. But in this case, you thought it would be an easy pass because it was a video game, but there were no excuses. It was just a simple failure, and uh, to be honest, if I were to choose a dog at a kennel or something, just imagine this environment full of bigger dogs like mutts and the really hardcore like pit bulls and Rottweilers. I would choose like a Rottweiler or a pit bull because they're more tough and aggressive. And though a lot of families they are nice families, they seem to like get those dogs on accident sometimes because they see them on television that they think it would be funny to try to turn those dogs into nice dogs, but that's really not the way it works with uh, dogs like that like aggressive dogs. So I just wanted to know what you guys think. Go ahead and share the video if you want. If you like the video, leave a like. If you thought otherwise, I don't know, you could skip this video. You could look around at other video games and gameplays and walkthroughs that they have on YouTube. You could enjoy ads. You could watch other apps. Excuse me. I don't smoke, by the way. I used to smoke, but I recently quit. But then I found some cigarettes laying after a celebration of a holiday that came um this summer. Um and I thought it would be a good idea to enjoy some cigarettes while I everybody was celebrating, so I just had like two of those. And but ever since I quit again, though I'm pretty sure it might happen again. And but anyway, on to Resident Evil 5. I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 5. The gameplay is like one of my favorites. Like it's really simple. The schematics are really I gotta say stupid, but uh to be specific, like the way Chris strafes from left to right. If you get a good look at his hips, like he kind of rocks his hips like a female more than Sheva does. I thought that was really funny seeing from a soldier, from the United States of America. Uh, but that was just a video game. In real life, I'm pretty sure they would joke around about that or something like that. Um, but there's a lot of video games and movies about the United States of America. They're all shot here in the USA. Some of them, uh, they get actors from all around the world to go to places like Rome. That's like across the globe from the United States. Um, I I'm really lucky I get to finally play the Rise Son of Rome for the Xbox One. I have a United States flag in the front of my house, so I'm a bit patriotic. I get to play that game, and it's really easy. Just counter attack and order like your troops to fire arrows. But that's just video games. I also like to talk about movies, Blu-rays. I don't know. What do you guys think? 4K. Leave a comment about like what do you think 4K really is about? Like, is it really just a smaller television with a small chip in it that somebody like whoever made the televisions kind of tweaked the calibrations a bit and just called it 4K, or are the actual 4Ks really just the plain and simple giant TVs that you get to set up in the living rooms, and then they sold the smaller 4K televisions for cheap? What do you guys think? Leave a comment if you want about that. I've been to the dentist a few times before for my upper teeth. They're kind of straight, but my bottom teeth are like a little bit crooked. I used to have braces on the top and the bottom, but I didn't wear the retainer. That's why the bottom row is a bit jagged. I've never got a nose surgery done, so I was thinking about like getting that done. I have kind of like a high pain threshold, as you can see to my eyes. I look like I guess I could admit I look like I just want to sneeze a bunch of times. I'm not quite sure why I do that, but um I used to smoke like everything from weed to I used to play with that recreationally. Uh I've purchased weed from a licensed seller and also a non-licensed seller. So you could imagine like growing up at 18 years old, I used to call my friends and they would come over and we would play video games and I would ask him if he could sell me like um, illegal marijuana, but like he would have them in bags, so it looks legit. But he was not with like any like parties or anything. So he wasn't doing it professionally, but I'm pretty sure today he's doing it professionally. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have friends that have gone through that? Like, first they start off like uh, selling it to their friends, and then maybe they would eventually become managers of a big company of like one of those marijuana dispensaries. My cousin, he we used to drive around Irvine, going to different dispensaries, purchasing some pretty good marijuana. Um, but in all honesty, I don't really like the drug. I just liked it because I had a good time watching television. Um, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I was thinking about watching finish watching the movie called Exodus and Gods, or I think that's what it's called. Uh, the word Exodus is in there. It's about Moses. Not Shadow Moses like from the Metal Gear Solid 2 video game. The actual Moses from the past in the biblical like in the book in the Bible um, with the plague and all that. Uh, I just got a haircut today. My mother, I'm lucky enough to have a mother that she cut it for me and she helped me out with that. But um, she noticed my bald spot up here and she didn't really go up there. So as you can see, I still have hair there. Um, but on the sides there, um, it's pretty short. I used to have it a lot longer. Like it was a lot thicker. That's that's kind of still thick, but anyway, more about me. Uh, I kind of like having the Xbox One S. Usually, a lot of people on YouTube they show like the Game Stops that have lines for the new consoles coming out. Everybody can't wait for the new Xbox Series X, I think it's called, and the PlayStation 5. And Nintendo, I'm not quite sure what they have lined up. Um, Anything that's new except Metroid Prime 4. I'm pretty sure they got like a whole team at Retro Studios with like the best artists that they can find from all over. I'm not quite sure. I haven't done a lot of digging on like the Retro Studios and uh, Metroid Prime. I do know that the Metroid Prime trilogy might be coming out for that Nintendo Switch. I thought that would be cool to have, but Nintendo Wii they already did that, so I'm not quite sure where I would fit in with that. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 a lot earlier. Um, it was about the Shadow Moses incident that I was talking about earlier. Though it's not from the Bible, it's actually tactical espionage action, where it's pretty simple. It's like imagine looking down at a map or at a brick on the floor with a grid shaped kind of brick that doesn't really reside anywhere, really fit in anywhere, except somewhere that maybe a boy had dropped on the floor because there was nothing better to do, and now it's a um, like a what do the ants call those kind of places? A utopia. I saw the movie Ants before. I think it was a DreamWorks movie. Well, that sort of thing is happening in my front yard, and um, I was talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 and how it's kind of like the same thing looking down at a map or a maze. You just go left, right, up and down. They don't really give you much leg room. And what do you guys think? Video games from the past really were really quite choppy, really quite like a puzzle that they give to rats. Um, the only thing that's weird is that we're the ones playing those kind of games just to get a kick out of it. I mean, we've got nothing better to do. Um, you could imagine me like in a laboratory suit, kind of really not doing much in a lab, just looking down at a microscope, watching time waste while all this horrible stuff is happening. Um, though people like me could say they don't really care because we don't have loved ones that are really like out there, like going to protests and gatherings where everybody got together and they feel like they want to be violent for a day against the police because of quote unquote all the beef that they've had in the past with America and racial tensions. It doesn't really add up with like where we're really going in uh, the U.S. of A. You have to think a little bit smarter. You have to think a little bit wiser. There's like a ton of artists that you can listen to that would probably agree with me, probably disagree. Um, but I'm pretty sure like this is it's the same with rap. Um, I um, I have like a Tupac poster in my room. I was lucky enough to pick one of those up at Target. I just kind of droll around the store sometimes, and then I look for the next big thing to pick up, and the Tupac poster was there, and I just picked one of those up, and I figured I got to frame up one of those. It's like one of the best photos in American history that goes up with like all the rest of the black and whites that they have in Barnes and Noble, and like um, it's a great photo. If you could imagine like a African soldier folding his hands together in prayer, and his head is slightly tilted downward. He has like tattoos and like a lot of jewelry on. It was a great photo. You gotta admit. I saw this movie called the Dark Net or the Dark Web. Um, it's a movie about like uh, this group of students that they were all playing on they were all talking to each other on Skype, and a hacker found out that one of them was um, using a laptop sort of illegally because the hacker had all his info on that laptop, and somebody found it at a lost and found. I don't know how he got it. He probably paid for it. He was probably telling the truth. He got it on a in the lost and found. You really have to watch the movie to see how it plays out. He has like a girlfriend that can't hear, so um, it's kind of a sad story, kind of like um, it's not really like an adventure, but there is this one part where he has to go on his bike on an adventure to go look for his girlfriend before she gets into trouble. And it's a good movie. They show like some really cool parts where like there's a tunnel and they're on a boat, and like everything turns into Minecraft graphics. But then again, like everything turns into Unreal Engine. That part's really cool. Um, Really, I just wanted to know how this thing worked on if it was gonna be uploaded on YouTube or not. It might be taken down for I don't know what reasons. It might be like flagged down for hate, I guess, um, because of what I mentioned earlier. But then again, kids are just kids, no matter how old you are. Some men feel that uh, they really I wouldn't say feel bigger than everybody else, but some men are actually you'll learn to find that there is like good in some men. There is like some bad in some men. Um, Personally, I feel like you just gotta mix both together and kind of weed out the weak. You gotta work on like how you live at home, um, and then from there you kind of take it to the real world, and then hopefully you can find a partner from there. And that's just basically how we've been living ever since here on Earth. Like no matter what stories they come up with, like from the past, before Christ, after his death. really, there's really been no change, honestly. Um, Personally, I like to live with much older folk because they have a lot to say that is mostly truth, but they're actually a lot of fun to be with. Besides younger people, young folk. Because there's young folk, there's young people, there's teenagers, there's kids, of course. Kids would be my favorite because personally, one of my favorite foods is pizza and chicken nuggets. So I have a cousin who her favorite restaurant I think is Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. So whenever she comes home, I get really excited. I think she's supposed to be here tomorrow on Sunday. She usually comes on Sundays, or like she stays till Monday, I think. But my mother told me that she might be going to work on Mondays now. So I don't know. What do you guys think whenever a parent says that they've been not really going to work one day, and then the next day they get information that they have to go to work that day instead of taking the day off. It's kind of bad news. My mother told me that she was disappointed when she found out that on Monday she has to go to work again. But I like to leave her texts at work so that she feels better, like so that she doesn't really fall behind because it's good for her morale. Because in the end, I really cared about my mom and my parents, no matter what we've been through. I just remember the parties that we used to have and all the trouble that I got into. I used to like to run down neighborhoods after partying because I learned it from a video game. Uh, that As you can tell, like there's a lot of stories about the character as he starts running and he gets into trouble with like germs. It's really easy to tell the video games that they make, like in Zelda and Horizon, I think that game is called, where they jump on top of like machines and stuff. Those are like not really machines. If Those are actually like germs. They just magnify it. The actual machines that they're looking for are like the ones in Dark Fate, which got poor reviews because of what I said earlier. That pretty much sums it all up. Um, if you're interested in to see what else I have to say on this Motorola, uh, if you think about maybe recommending like a upgrade, I should get like a tablet that might do the same thing where I won't have to hold the phone up and my arm gets sore because of recording so long and having so much to say. I could set this thing down. Hold on. Okay, that's a little bit more clearer, but that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope watching this video, everybody feels that maybe they are getting hungry, I guess, and uh, but anyways, the coronavirus is still out, so like, where can you go? You could uh, the news says that we can't go out, but I mean, you can order still. Yeah, if you take a drive around, you could still pass restaurants where they say like you could still pick up. You can still do that. Other than that, I would really recommend purchasing a new video game console and finding a good deal on games, but being wise with your money and not really buying everything that your brother might say is the best game ever. I would say more get a video game that your cousin would say is a good deal on a good adventure, a good story, um, and yeah. That's that's pretty much it.